Hello everyone, welcome to episode 12, the final part of Let's Play Metal Gear Solid, which is also our belated 200th video special. I need to get back to Mega Man Legends though at some point, yikes. Yeah, we're finishing this entire game tonight, folks. And there's Liquid. I'm gonna go make a sandwich. Let's see if this cutscene will be done by the time I finish.
Liquid! Snake! Did you like my sunglasses? You point a weapon at your own brother?
Why did you disguise yourself as Master?
So I could manipulate you more easily. And you performed quite well, I must say. Although the boys at the Pentagon are probably saying the same thing.
What the hell are you talking about?
Following orders blindly with no questions asked, you've lost your warrior's pride and become nothing more than a pawn, Snake.
What?
Stopping the nuclear launch, rescuing the hostages, it was all just a diversion.
A diversion?
The Pentagon only needed for you to come into contact with us. That's what killed the Arms Tech president and decoy octopus.
You don't mean...
That's right. You were sent here to kill us so they could retrieve Metal Gear undamaged, along with the bodies of the Genome soldiers. From the beginning, the Pentagon was just using you as a vector to spread Fox dye.
Fox dye? It can't be. Are you telling me Naomi was working with the Pentagon?
They thought she was, but it seems that Dr. Naomi Hunter couldn't be controlled so easily.
What?
We've got a spy working in the Pentagon. He reported that Dr. Hunter altered Fox Dye's program just before the operation, but no one knows how. Why?
I wonder... Maybe they arrested her so they could find out the answer to that.
No doubt. But I had no idea she was motivated by such petty revenge. We still don't know what changes she made to Fox Dye's program. Oh well, it doesn't matter. I've already added the Fox Dye vaccine to my list of White House demands.
There's a vaccine?
There must be, but that woman is the only one who really knows. Anyway, it might prove to be unnecessary.
Why's that?
You were successful in coming into contact with all of us, so we must have all been exposed to the virus. It's true that the Arms Tech president and decoy octopus were killed by Fox Dye, but Ocelot, myself, and you, the carrier, were apparently unaffected.
A bug in the virus's programming?
Could be. In any case, if it doesn't kill you, then I'm not worried either. After all, our genetic code is identical.
So it's true. You and I are...
Yes, twins. But we're not ordinary twins. We're twins linked by cursed genes. Les enfants terribles. You're fine. You got all the old man's dominant genes. I got the flawed recessive genes. Everything was done so that you would be the greatest of his children. The only reason I exist is so they could create you.
I was the favorite, huh?
That's right. I'm just the leftovers of what they used to make you. Can you understand what it's like to know that you're garbage since the day you were born? But I'm the one Father chose.
So that's why you're so obsessed with Big Boss. Some warped kind of love.
Love? It's hate! He always told me I was inferior.
Oh wow, I actually went and made a sandwich and it's still going on. Jesus.
Understand me, brother. You killed our father with your...
I will say right now, since there's not much time left with Liquid, he's actually voiced by the exact same guy who voices Simba in Kingdom Hearts 2.
I'll finish the work that Father began. I will surpass him. I will destroy him.
You're just like Naomi.
Well, I'm not like you. Unlike you, I'm proud of the destiny that is encoded into my very genes. Yeah. Snake, your blood will be the first to be spilled by this glorious new weapon. Consider it an honor, a gift from your brother. Now I'll show you the power of the weapon that will lead us in the 21st century.
It's moving.
Well, that's not good. And welcome to the climactic final battle against Metal Gear Rex. Now, one thing I don't show off here is that you can actually use, what are they called? Chaff grenades to temporarily inhibit it. Now, your target is that little radome thing right there. You'll find out if you call Otacon that that's the only place that you can damage it, because it's made from a slightly different material that is weaker than the rest of Rex. 3 attacks. The missiles, which if you run towards him and underneath his legs, should not hit you. The machine gun fire, which is fairly easy to dodge. A tail laser, which is actually the most damaging single attack in the game. Watch out for that one. That one's really hard hitting. And if I remember correctly, it's never happened to me, but I've heard this can happen. He can step on you and cause an instant kill, but I'm not too sure about that last one. Now, normally my strategy is to try and avoid it as much as I can, but I don't give a crap. I'm gonna tank through this and lose almost every single one of my rations in the progress. But you know, you'd think that Liquid would probably get the idea to, you know, use the railgun on me. Sort of. Because that would seem like a highly intelligent idea. But, yeah, first part of Metal Gear Rex, not that hard. And as if the fact that there's a multi-formed final boss is a spoiler, seriously.
Did that do it?
If I remember correctly, there was a rumor going on around the time this game came out that you can actually get that gun that he just used.
I am a prisoner of death. Only you can free me. Fox, stay out of this. What about Naomi? She's hell-bent on taking revenge for you. Naomi? You're the only one who can stop her. No, I can't. Why? Because I'm the one who killed her parents. I was young then, and couldn't bring myself to kill her too. I felt so bad that I decided to take her with me. I raised her like she was my own blood to soothe my guilty conscience. Even now she thinks of me as her brother. But on the outside, we might have seemed like a happy brother and sister. But every time I looked at her, I saw her parents' eyes staring back at me. Tell her for me. Tell her that I was the one who did it.
There you are!
We're just about out of time. Here's a final present from Deep Throat. I'll stop it from moving. But
Now that's what I call disarming your enemy.
In the Middle East, we don't hunt foxes, we hunt jackals. Instead of foxhounds, we use royal harriers.
Fox,
How strong is that exoskeleton of yours. Snake, are you just going to sit by and watch him die?
Cornered fox is more dangerous than a jackal. Destroyed the radar.
Impressive! You are indeed worthy of the codename Fox, but now you're finished!
No! Fire the stinger!
Fox, can you really shoot? You'll kill him too!
Oh boy, I hate this section. all you can really do is aim at either Liquid or Fox and attempt to press the square button. Whenever when you do it, Snake will pretty much say, no, I can't do it, I don't want to kill him, no, I can't, blah 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 blah. Actually, one potential detail I do like is that if you look on the radar on the top right, you can actually see Metal Gear Rex's feet. I love that, what's it called? I forget what the name, cartography, I think. I just like the way that looks, alright?
Snake, we're not tools of the government or anyone else. Fighting was the only thing I was good at. But at least I always fought for what I believed in. Snake, farewell.
Man. He prayed for death, and it found him. You see, you can't protect anyone, not even yourself. Die!
Well, shut the hell up, Liquid. Actually, one thing I have never really checked is that if you can actually see where Gray Fox was in this part of the battle, but anyway, this part of the battle is pretty much the same, except now you have to aim for the cockpit, which is pretty much where the tongue would be in Metal Gear Rex. Also, one thing I have to mention, why does Rex sound like, well, a T-Rex? I mean, from a namesake standpoint, that makes sense, but from a... Well, actually, it could make sense for intimidation, but that's about it. Now, what I know... Now, this form, there's multiple ways you can damage, I believe. I know the most damage you can do is going directly into the cockpit. But as I did earlier, and I think I do again later in the fight, you can damage him by hitting somewhere else. I think where the tail laser is. But I'm not too sure, because this is a fight that while I have done quite often, I don't really do often enough. Because the cutscenes in this are really long, and if you die to this part of the fight, guess what? You go back to the first part before Fox died. Whoops. Seriously, I could have used a checkpoint here so badly. Because this is indeed the hardest fight in the game. Well, second hardest. I actually consider this slightly easier than the first half. Only just slightly. But enough stingers to the face and Liquid and Metal Gear will go down.
Snake, I'll crush you into dust.
Well, that exploded Michael Bay style.
Sleeping late as usual. I won't die as long as you still live.
Too bad. It looks like your revolution was a failure.
Just because you've destroyed Metal Gear doesn't mean I am done fighting.
Fighting? What are you really after?
A world where warriors like us are honored as we once were, as we should be.
That was Big Boss's fantasy.
It was his dying wish. When he was young, during the Cold War, the world needed men like us. We were valued then. We were desired. But things, are different now. With all the liars and hypocrites running the world, war isn't what it used to be. We're losing our place in a world that no longer needs us. A world that now spurns our very existence. You should know that as well as I do. After I launch this weapon and get our $1 billion, we'll be able to bring chaos and honor back to this world gone soft. Conflict will breed conflict. New hatreds will arise. Then, we'll steadily expand our sphere of influence.
But as long as there are people, there will always be war.
But the problem is balance. Father knew what type of a balance was best.
Oh, that's right, one thing I haven't mentioned yet is that you can actually move around this cutscene like you could back on the interrogation table.
For warriors such as us.
I don't want that kind of world.
Ha! You lie. So why are you here then? Why do you continue to follow your orders while your superiors betray you? Why did you come here? Well, I'll tell you then. You enjoy all the killing. That's why.
What?
Are you denying it? Haven't you already killed most of my comrades?
That was...
I watched your face when you did it. It was filled with the joy of battle.
You're wrong.
There's a killer inside you. You don't have to deny it. We were created to be that way.
Created?
Les enfants terribles. The terrible children. That's what the project was called. It started in the 1970s. Their plan was to artificially create the most powerful soldier possible. The person that they chose as the model was the man known then as the greatest living soldier in the world.
Big Boss.
But Father was wounded in combat and already in a coma when they brought him in. So they created...
Actually, I just realized
with a combination of 20th
that whole
century
coma
analog
thing is in the
film
trailer for
and
Metal
the
Gear
Super
Solid
Baby
5, so
method.
we're gonna get to see some of this stuff happen?
They
Ooh,
fertilized an egg
right?
with one
That'll
of
be
Father's
interesting if that's
cells,
actually what they're
and
going
then
for.
let it divide into 8 clone babies. Then they transferred the clones to someone's uterus and later intentionally aborted 6 of the fetuses to encourage strong fetal growth. You and I were originally octuplets.
Octuplets?
Yes. The other 6 of our brothers were sacrificed to make us. We were accomplices in murder before the day we were even born. So it was you and I, 2 fertilized eggs with exactly the same DNA. But they weren't finished yet. They used me as a guinea pig to create a phenotype in which all of the dominant genes were expressed. To create you. I got all of the recessive genes. You took everything from me before I was even born. But you and I aren't his only children.
What?
The Genome Soldiers. They too are his progeny, carrying on his genetic legacy. But they're different. They're digital. With the completion of the Human Genome Project, the mysteries of humanity were laid bare. Thanks to Father's DNA, they were able to identify more than 60 soldier genes responsible for everything from strategic thinking to the proverbial killer instinct. Those soldier genes were transplanted into the members of the next generation Special Forces. That's how they became the Genome Soldiers. That's right. The Genome Soldiers that you've been killing are our brothers with the same genes as ours. The
genome soldiers.
That's right. They are our brothers, created artificially through the alignment of nucleotides to mimic our father's genes. They too are the product of numerous sacrifices.
Sacrifices?
Human experiments! 1991, the Gulf War. The military secretly injected soldiers with the soldier genes. The Gulf War syndrome that hundreds of thousands of returning soldiers complained about was a side effect of it.
Ha! Everyone knows that the Gulf War syndrome was caused by exposure to depleted uranium used in the anti-tank rounds.
That was just a cover story issued by the Pentagon. First they tried to say it was post-traumatic stress disorder, then chemical or biological weapons. The poison gas detection units and the anti-sarin injections, they were all just a cover-up of the secret genetic experiments.
So then, the so-called Gulf War babies that have been reported by Gulf War veterans are...
Yes, they too are our brothers and sisters.
So the genome soldiers mean that the experiments were a success?
Success? Don't be a fool. They're a complete failure. We are on the verge of extinction.
What?
Have you ever heard of the asymmetry theory? Nature tends to favor asymmetry. Those species which have gone extinct all show signs of symmetry. The genome soldiers suffer from the same problem. Signs of symmetry. So do I. As do you. That's right. We are all on the verge of death at the genetic level. We don't know when or what type of disease will occur. That's why we need the old man's genetic information.
You want Big Boss's DNA so you can save your family? It's very touching.
In nature, family members don't mate with each other, and yet they help each other to survive. Do you know why? It increases the chance that their genes will be passed on to a new generation. Altruism among blood relatives is a response to natural selection. It's called the selfish gene theory.
You're telling me that your genes are ordering you to save the genome soldiers?
You can't fight your genes. It's fate. All living things are born for the sole purpose of passing on their parents' genes. That's why I'll follow what my genes tell me. And then I'm going to go beyond. In order to break the curse of my heritage. And to do that, first, I will kill you. Look behind you.
Hey, there she is.
Is she alive?
I'm not sure. She was alive a few hours ago. Poor girl kept calling your name.
Meryl.
Stupid woman. Falling in love with a man who doesn't even have a name.
I have a name.
No! We have no past, no future, and even if we did, it wouldn't be truly ours. You and I are just copies of our father, Big Boss.
Let Meryl go.
As soon as we've finished our business, we're almost out of time.
You're talking about Fox Die.
No. It seems now that the Pentagon knows that Metal Gear is destroyed. They've arrived at a decision. They won't even need a BTA. If you want the details, why don't you ask your precious Colonel Campbell?
So many cutscenes.
Colonel, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm listening.
What is
Oh wow, I just realized he actually changed his Kodak portrait to make sure he's
The
shirtless.
Secretary of
In
Defense
fact,
has taken over
Liquid,
active
why
control
did
of
you
this
remove his
operation.
shirt?
He's on his way there by AWACS.
Unless...
For?
Oh...
What?
Not only
Gross.
that, B-2 bombers just lifted off from Galena Air Force Base. They're carrying B-6113 surface-piercing tactical nuclear bombs.
What? Metal Gear is destroyed. Tell the Secretary of Defense.
The Secretary of Defense...
Oh, it's
urgently
all
only
about
double-crossed
panic,
us,
isn't
and
it?
he's
That's
worried
all it
about
gets
Fox
driven
Die.
down to.
Now that there's
Ugh.
no more danger of a nuclear strike from Metal Gear, he's going to do whatever's necessary to cover up the truth of what really happened here.
Ah,
He's going to
SecDef,
drop a
you
nuclear
always come
bomb
through in
to
the end for us,
vaporize all
don't
the
you?
evidence along with anyone who knows anything.
Don't worry, Snake. I'll stop the nuclear strike.
How?
I may only be a figurehead here, but I'm still officially in command of this mission. If I issue
What
an order
the... Why does that
delay the strike,
keep
it'll
happening?
confuse the chain of command and at least buy you some time. It'll give you a
And
chance
someone
to
apparently
escape.
just came online on Steam during the recording. I completely forgot about that.
It's okay,
Then
Snake.
again, that happens a lot, doesn't
The
it?
truth is, Foxhound was already the
Oh, well.
subject of an undercover investigation. Merrill was transferred to this base just before the terrorist attack as a way of manipulating
shit.
me.
Those bastards.
I'm sorry. They
Ooh,
forced
piano,
me to
yay.
cooperate in exchange for her life.
I'm not sure why I'm
You better get out
rarely
of this,
talking
Snake.
like it's still a cutscene. It's
Are you
not.
sure? It'll
Well,
be bad
this
for
technically
you.
is a codec
Don't worry.
cutscene, but
It's
I'm
the
alright
least
with
I can
talking
do
over
for
these.
you, after all the lies.
Colonel,
I'm ordering them to cancel the bombing run. After that, there's no turning back. What? What
Ah,
are you doing?
crap, someone's strangling him. Oh, that's right, you're in this game.
what happened to the colonel?
I've only seen her like twice in the entire game, wasn't it?
Happened?
The opening cutscene and the one time I saved on disc 1, yeah, we've only seen her twice.
Relieved of duty. This is the Secretary of
Well, I think
Defense,
twice. I may have done a third time off screen, I can't remember.
Back on.
He's been placed under arrest for leaking top-secret information.
And by the way, the Secretary of Defense here looks like Walter Peck from Ghostbusters to me. I don't know why.
He's a ridiculous
He
man.
just always looked like that to me, because I saw this, because I first played this game right after I first saw Ghostbusters, so I made that comparison immediately.
Bastard.
There won't be a speck of evidence left. I'm sure the President would want the same thing.
President ordered this?
The President is a busy man. I have complete authority here.
Of course, the Secretary of Defense is the one behind it all alone, isn't
Alaska
it?
to the media.
Well,
Don't
except for the
worry.
thing behind
We've
Liquid.
prepared a
That
convincing
Liquid's doing this all on his
cover
own.
story. We'll simply
I must sound
say
somewhat
that the
tired now. I'm sorry for
terrorists
about
exploded a
that.
nuclear
For about that?
device.
What?
Smart. You'll be murdering everyone here. The scientists.
Well, majority of the
genome
scientists are already
everyone.
dead, so
The
yeah.
DARPA chief is already dead.
So, you didn't mean to kill the DARPA chief after all.
He was my friend.
And you could care less about what happens to everybody else, huh?
Well, if you give me the optic
Well,
disc, I
actually,
might
that's a plot hole,
consider
because
saving them.
by now it's already been revealed that the DARPA chief that died, at least that we saw, was, what's his, Decoy
I
Octopus.
see.
So he wouldn't have had to kill him at all. That was all Ocelot's
You two
fault,
are an
accidentally.
embarrassment from the 1970s. Our country's dirty little secret.
Oh,
can't
you did
be
not
allowed
just
to
go
live.
there.
Well, the bombs will be dropping soon, and you two have a lot of catching up to do. Farewell.
There's no way out for us. Let's finish this before the airstrike. You stole everything from me. Only your death can satisfy me. Only your death can return to me what is rightly mine. She'll make a beautiful sacrifice for our final battle. Do you see this? It will be the time limit for our final battle. This nuclear module is set to detonate at the precise moment of her death. If you win, you might still be able to save her. You could enjoy one brief moment of love before the end. If you cross this line, you'll fall. At this height, it will kill even you. Have at you, Snake.
Way to waste 1/6 of our time just by talking, Liquid. And yes, it's a final battle against Liquid Snake. He's not lying. If you fall off Metal Gear, you'll die. And remember how I mentioned very early on that the combat controls of this game are kinda clunky? Yeah, it's the only way you can damage him. And you need to make sure you finish off your combo every time you punch him. If you fail to kick him, or at least hit him with the kick overall, he'll follow up with a quick 1-2, which can hurt. If he, as you saw there, he moved after I had started punching. If he does that and gets around you, he will do a very powerful roundhouse kick. And later on, when he's lower on health, he'll start charging at you from one side part of the Metal Gear to the other. And now, this might be a bit easier in Twin Snakes, the GameCube remake, because you have 360 degrees control and it's not a D-pad. Because I gotta admit, this can be kinda awkward to control at times. But make sure, yeah, and you also don't, oh, and by the way, you don't have any rations for this, so watch your life. Because one wrong move can mean the entire end for you. And to kill him, you actually do have to knock him off the edge like I do just there when he's low enough on health. So watch out for that. Ow, that hurts. No, I still have a minute and 20 seconds or so left. I really hate how my parents interrupted me that now of all times when I'm about to kill him. But yeah, Liquid, not that hard, but he can be annoying, so watch out for that. And he just regained some life, I just noticed that. But, enough time, enough practice, and enough good timing skills, and he will go down easily. Die, Liquid!
Snake? Is that you? Snake! Oh, you're alive! Thank God!
Meryl. Meryl, are you okay?
Are you okay? Is that all you can say?
Meryl, it must have been terrible.
Oh, it wasn't that bad. I didn't give in to the torture.
Torture?
And things even worse than that. I was fighting too. Just like you.
You're a strong woman.
Fighting them made me feel closer to you. I felt like you were there with me. It gave me the strength to go on. But I was scared.
I'm sorry.
Don't say that. But it made me realize something. During all the pain and shame, there was one thing I was sure of. A single hope that I held on to. And that hope kept me alive. Snake, I wanted to see you again.
Meryl. That's my Kodak.
Freaking cock-blocking codec. Oh, hi, Otacon.
It's me.
Otacon, good news.
Now,
Meryl's
one thing I
okay.
should mention is that if you submitted during the torture sequence towards the end of Disc 1, Meryl would be dead here, so she wouldn't have that little reunion with Snake there, so you'd be escaping by yourself, or maybe with Otacon. I don't know, it's been
Is there a way out
a
of
few
here?
years, actually, since I got the Otacon ending.
Yeah, you can take the loading tunnel to the surface. There's a parking
Why?
garage right next to it.
I just
The
prefer
tunnel
getting a
leads
good
from
ending in
there
a
to the
game like
surface.
this.
The door in front?
No, it's a small entrance to the west of that door.
How about the security?
I just unlocked it. Who do you think you're talking to? I'll take care of security along your escape route, too.
What are you going to do?
Me?
Oh,
I'll stay
Verve.
here.
Are you crazy?
I need a little more time to take care of your escape route.
But
No, Otacon, you can't
Unlocking the
die.
security doors
You're
is
nerds.
difficult work. Only
Nerds
I can do it.
forever.
Otacon,
Don't worry. I'm staying here. It's my own decision.
But yeah, Otacon
Otacon,
staying behind
this
to make sure they can
hardened
escape,
shelter,
even
but
though
they're
he's
gonna
going to
use
more
a
than likely
surface-piercing
die
nuclear
himself.
bomb. It won't hold.
Which
I'm
is,
through regretting
I
the past.
gotta admit, a
Life
very
isn't all
manly
about
thing for him to
loss,
do,
you know.
considering he was such a wuss
Snake?
early on in the game.
I'm a complete person now. I've found a reason to live.
Good. Don't die on me.
Same to you. Take care of Meryl, okay?
I will.
Okay, I gotta go. I promise I'll do something about your escape route.
Thanks.
Thanks? Well, that sounds nice.
It's very easy
I
to impress
believe
you,
in
isn't it,
you.
Otacon?
Thanks, Snake.
Ah, man.
Let's get the hell out of here.
What about him? Where's Otakon?
Nice pronunciation there.
He's fighting right now. With his old self. To be the man he wants to be.
He's fighting for us too?
Yeah. And I don't want it to be in vain.
Me too. Snake.
No. It started.
I must be heavy.
Looks like we're not gonna have a love scene after all.
Looks that way. Too bad.
Let's get out of here.
Snake, it's freezing outside. You need some clothes.
There's my sneaking suit.
Hurry up. Hurry! Looking good, Snake.
And it's time for our Metroid self-destruct sequence. But if you can first go back here, got a ration. Booyah! And there's another ration right here. I recommend getting them both because the next section can be quite tricky. Oh, then this is going to end perfectly, isn't it? And at this point, this is pretty much you trying to either avoid the enemies or fight them off long enough for Meryl to find the keys. Even though she finds it anyway, no matter what you do. So, as soon as she says, well, I'll ask her dialogue choice, that one actually, just walk on over to it and you'll jump on in. I thought there was a ration in here, but nope. Anyway, one tip to make this quite a bit easier on yourself. Press and hold triangle to go into first person view for this. A lot easier to aim than otherwise. I do like the remix of the encounter theme they got going on here. Very nice. Then again, the encounter theme remixes overall are just fantastic. And when you ever get to one of these checkpoints, you have one of a few set objectives to do. This one, just blow up the things; it'll kill the guys. I don't think this, however, I don't think the things here count for your ending ranking of for the kills. And actually, I forget. Does killing the bosses count as kills for your ranking? I forget. Mind you, I don't care about the ranking myself, but that's just me. All I care about is completing the game and having a blast while doing so. The only game I strive for rankings in are the Mega Man Zero games. And you guys heard me gush about those, especially Zero 3. Man, Zero 3. I need to play through you again.
Not yet, Snake. It's not over yet. Liquid.
Oh, for fuck's sakes, die already! Didn't I say that exact same thing in Zero 4? Yeah, I did, wow. Anyway, in this entire section, you're pretty much just, supposed to make sure Liquid can't shoot you, and yeah, that's about it. This is more of just surviving than anything. You're on a scripted path. Just make sure you can hit Liquid, and you'll be good. Although I gotta say, he's a champ. I gotta say, Liquid is a champ. He survived a helicopter crash somehow, survived Metal Gear exploding somehow, survived that fall somehow, and is now taking, like, some very large rounds to the chest. How are you still alive? Seriously, you should be dead. 3 times over, in fact. Then again, realistically, it would take one shot and I'll be dead. Come on. If I remember correctly, yeah, we're nearing the end of this scripted sequence. So, yeah. Liquid, you suck. For some reason, though, I just imagine in this game that he'd actually somehow step up to the turn in the back and be shooting while driving. Knowing Metal Gear, it would do that. And gameplay over.
Look, Snake, daylight. We're gonna crash.
And then they died.
Meryl, are you okay?
Yeah, just a little shook up.
Meryl, can you move?
It's no good. I can't move.
What happened to Liquid?
I can't see him either.
Liquid's dead.
Seriously? How are you still alive?
Snake!
Ha! Saying the P word all those times got to you finally.
If he's dead, that means...
Don't say it, Snake.
What happened to the air raid? No stealth bombers in sight.
Woohoo! He's finally dead. It only took 5 tries.
Colonel, are you okay? Colonel, what happened?
The Secretary of Defense
Yay.
has been arrested. Early retirement.
Well, at least he gets paid.
I was able to get into contact with the President. Metal Gear, the training exercise, all of it. It was all the Secretary of Defense
Why that
acting alone.
little...
Acting alone? What happened to the air raid and the nuclear strike?
The orders
Okay,
were
good, so we
rescinded.
survived.
The F-117s and the B-2 Spirits have returned to the base. Once again, I have complete authority over this operation.
I see.
Washington isn't stupid enough to use nukes to cover up a few secrets.
Arguable.
I wonder about that.
That is
In any
very,
case,
very arguable
the
considering the
danger's
way
over.
our nation is today.
Thanks, Snake.
Colonel, you can rest easy. Meryl's fine.
Really? Thanks. Thank you, Snake. Snake, I'm sorry. I kept a lot of things from you.
Yeah, that's what the military
It's
does.
okay, Colonel.
Snake, I'm not a colonel.
Oh, that's right.
I've got a present for you. There's a snowmobile close to you. Mei Ling saw it on the satellite photos. This time of year, the glaciers are pretty calm. You should be able to ride
Booyah.
right out of there. I'll bet the boys at the DIA and the NSA never expected
I wonder if they
you
had
to
bets
come
on whether or not he'd
alive.
come back alive.
Me neither.
Or who
I
would
better not
kill
show
him at
my
least.
face around here.
We got 45 on Psycho Mantis, 3 on Revolver
Died after your Jeep sank into the ocean.
Any for survival? Nope.
That's not too
Alrighty.
far from the truth.
Ah man, they're all gonna lose a lot of money if they did.
Island.
I'm going so off
Hell Emmerich should be
topic.
somewhere on the base. I want
Ah,
someone
well that's
to bring
nice of
him
you,
in.
Snake.
I understand. Leave it to me.
Okay, Roy. Are you gonna be okay?
Don't worry. I've got an insurance policy. A hard copy of all Mei Ling's data. As long as I've got that, you...
So he
me,
ha- oh
and
my
Mei
god,
Ling
that
will
might
be
mean he has a
fine.
hard copy of
Battery on
this
these
game.
nanomachines will run out soon.
It all
They
makes
won't be able to
sense.
follow us.
It all
I
makes
guess
sense.
we won't meet again.
Don't worry. I'll pay you a visit sometime.
Really? I look forward to that.
Roy, just tell me one thing.
What?
About Fox Die.
Meryl will be fine. She wasn't
Why
included
would
in this
she?
programming.
What about me? It killed
That's a
Liquid.
good question
Naomi
there.
said that she wants to
That
talk to you
considering
face to face about
genetics.
that. How
Oh,
is she?
unless it is programmed to
Don't worry.
only kill
Mayling's with her
once.
right now.
If it finds DNA
I'm
that
switching over to
might just be a
Naomi.
match. I'm probably just
it's me.
bullshitting.
Naomi,
I heard about my brother.
I'm sorry. But he had one last message he wanted to say to you. He told me to tell you
I
to forget
have
about
never
him
said this enough.
and to go on with your own
Of one thing,
life.
I love that line,
Frankie said that?
and I love this song
Yeah.
so much.
He also said he'll always love you. Naomi, your brother just saved you, me, and the whole world. He fought with every ounce of strength in his body.
Maybe. Maybe now he's finally found some peace. He wasn't really my brother anymore. Ever since he fought with you in Zanzibar, he's been like a ghost. A ghost looking for a place to die.
Naomi, Liquid died from Fox died too. What about me? When am I gonna go?
That's up to you.
What do you mean?
Everybody dies when their time is up.
Yeah, so when's mine up?
It's up to you how you use the time left to you. Live, Snake. That's all I can say to you. Each person is born with their fate written into their own genetic code. It's unchangeable, immutable. But that's not all there is to life. I finally realized that. I told you before the reason that I was interested in genes and DNA. Because I wanted to know who I was, where I came from. I thought that if I analyzed my DNA, I could find out who I was, who my parents were. And I thought that if I knew that, then I'd know what path I should take in life. But I was wrong. I didn't find anything. I didn't learn anything. Just like with the genome soldiers, you can input all the genetic information, but that doesn't make them into the strongest soldiers. The most we can say about DNA is that it governs a person's potential strengths, potential destiny. You mustn't allow yourself to be chained to fate, to be ruled by your genes. Humans can choose the type of life they want to live. Snake, whether or not you're in the Fox Die program isn't important. The important thing is that you choose life. And then live. Don't you think, Snake? Don't worry. I'm going to choose life too. Until today, I've always looked for a reason to live. But from here on, I'm going to just live. Genes exist to pass down our hopes and dreams for the future through our children. Living is a link to the future.
So how did she see this thing on satellite imaging if it's in a cave
Loving each other.
beneath a cliff?
Teaching each other. That's how we can change the world. I finally realized it. The true meaning of life. Thank you, Snake.
Look, I found this.
Infinite ammo! Yay!
Let's keep it. As a reminder.
Of what? A reminder of a successful mission? Or the first time we met?
A reminder of how to live.
Huh?
Until today, I've lived only for myself. Survival has been the only thing I cared about in my life.
That's not just you. That's how everyone is.
I only felt truly alive when I was staring death in the face. I don't know. Maybe it's written into my genes.
What about now? What do your genes say about your future now?
Maybe it's time I live for someone else.
Someone else?
Yeah. Someone like you. Maybe that's the real way to live.
So, where to, Snake?
David.
Way to use the voice actor's name there, guys.
Okay.
Totally original.
So where to, Dave?
I think it's time we look for a new path in life.
A new path?
A new purpose.
Will we find it?
We'll find it. I know we'll find it.
What are those?
Hut, 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 yeah, hut, 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 yeah.
To the
Ooh,
Aleutians,
caribou!
the caribou is a symbol of life. It'll be spring here soon.
For us too?
Yeah. Spring brings new life to everything. It's a time for hope. I've lived here a long time, but Alaska has never looked more beautiful. The sky, the sea, the caribou, and most of all, you.
I think I'm gonna like this new life.
Come on. Let's enjoy life.
Who the fuck messaged me on Steam during a recording? 1980s, there are more than 60,000 nuclear warheads in the world at all times. The total destructive power matches than 1 million times that of the Hiroshima A-bomb. In January 1993, START 2 was signed. The United States and Russia agreed to reduce the number of strategic nuclear warheads to 3,000 to 35,000 each nation by December 31, 2000. However, as of 1998, there still exists 26,000 nuclear warheads in the world. And those numbers are changed to reflect the date of when Twin Snakes was announced. But yes, everyone, that is the end of Let's Play Metal Gear Solid. And before I go into our small review, I'm gonna say I did do a bit of editing here. I downloaded a video of the credits that you get when you beat the game for the third time after getting the good and bad ending. Why? Because for one thing, there's a song in it that I'd rather like to listen to. But as for Metal Gear Solid, I love this game. The storyline, while it does have its plot holes and hasn't aged particularly well in comparison to maybe Metal Gear Solid 2, 3, or 4's, is still rather enjoyable. The soundtrack, while it has its ambient pieces, is fitting for the areas that it's in, and does enhance the overall game. The graphics for 98 PlayStation 1 look fantastic. The voice acting is easily the highlight of the game, well, aside from gameplay, but I'll get to that in a second. The voice acting is very well done. It does have its hammy moments, but overall it is very well done. Easily the best on the PlayStation 1, if not in the top 3. And as for the gameplay, I love the stealth orientation. To me, the top-down perspective of this and Metal Gear Solid 2 fitted so much better than the 3 and 4 did. Everything is well programmed, and it's overall just a fun experience. I recommend this. If you have a PlayStation 3 or PSP, get it on the PlayStation Store. If you have a PS1 or PS2, find the actual copy of this game. If you have a GameCube or Wii, find the GameCube version if you can. Twin Snakes. From what I've heard, it's rather good. Overall, this is easily my top 3 PlayStation 1 games. Up there with Final Fantasy IX and probably Chrono Cross. I highly recommend to anyone who would play it. I highly recommend it to anyone who wants to get into the series. In fact, I recommend you play this one first. And as for where it stands as Metal Gear as a whole, this has always been really close to Metal Gear Solid 2. I love all the things Metal Gear Solid 2 added, but this one just is overall fun to play. Twin Snakes, I know, pretty much combines the two, so if I played that, that would probably be my favorite. But it's always, like, neck and neck between this and 2 for my favorite one. Don't get me wrong, Metal Gear Solid 3 and 4 are fantastic games, though. While they did change the orientation, because the behind-the-back view, I gotta admit, is more action-y to me. They are still great games of their own, but they were too action-oriented for my tastes, because Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 are still the Metal Gear games to me. And one thing I do actually really like about this game is that it doesn't leave it open for sequels. They just, with the way that ends, you'd think that would be the end of a standalone title, which I can agree with. Hideo Kojima and his team did a fantastic job here. If it's not obvious enough by now, with the review I just did and everything else, I love this game. And here's why I edited in a download video of the actual credits for the third playthrough. We get to hear the main theme, which I love. It's actually been the intro song this entire time. I might leave a link, keyword might, leave a link to it in the description, because I love this song. The Metal Gear Solid 2 version is better, though. But yeah, Metal Gear Solid, good game. I recommend it to anyone. I know Pat, and I believe Matt as well, are fans of the series. Well, I know for a fact Pat is. Metal Gear Solid 4 is his favorite game of all time, up there with Fallout 3. But, yeah, play this. Just play it. It is on the PlayStation Store, and it probably will be on the PS4 store whenever that comes out, because that might be out by... No, that probably won't be out by the time I get to this. And I'd also, belatedly, like to thank you guys all for staying with us for 200 videos. Because this is pretty much my 200 video special. Although that does remind me, I do have to get back to recording this series that the 100th video is a part of. I have to get back to doing not Metal Gear Solid, Mega Man Legends. And one thing I actually just remembered is that, let's put it like this. You know, I said 3 and 4, while I liked them, aren't as good as 1 and 2 in my opinion. Easily my favorite part of Metal Gear Solid 4 was when you got to control Metal Gear Rex and well, actually I should say the entire Shadow Moses section. Good God, I was fangasming all over the place in that section. Overall though, fantastic experience, I recommend it. And as for later games in the series, I'll be recording the NES and MSX games if I am able to. I'm doing Metal Gear Solid 2 easily. 3 and 4 I think are going to Pat. Mostly because he knows, and he definitely knows 4 better than me. But then again, 4 will more than likely have to be a freaking live stream series, because there's over 9 hours of cutscenes in that game! That would be so long to put into parts. And for all I know, Pat might be joining me in the later games. Well, of course I'll be joining him for 3 and 4, because I have a lot to say about those, even though they're not, I still find these better. But anyway, I'd like to thank Konami so much for this game, and Hideo Kojima for just making an overall enjoyable experience. Time for some last minute chatter, if you don't mind.
You mustn't allow yourself to be chained to fate, to be ruled by your genes. Humans can choose the type of life they want to live. The important thing is that you choose life, and then live.
Well, that's a good moral out there for all the kids. Except for those who pretty much murdered everyone their way like I did.
Yes, sir. The entire unit was wiped out. Those 2 are still alive. The Vector? Yes, sir. Fox Die should become activated soon. Right on schedule. Yes, sir. I recovered all of Rex's dummy warhead data. No, sir. My cover is intact. Nobody knows who I really am. Yes, the DARPA chief knew my identity, but he's been disposed of.
So it wasn't an accident.
Yes, the inferior one was the winner after all. That's right. Until the very end, Liquid thought he was the inferior one. Yes, sir, I agree completely. It takes a well-balanced individual such as yourself to rule the world. No, sir. No one knows that you were the third one, Solidus. What should I do about the woman? Yes, sir. I'll keep her under surveillance. Yes. Thank you. Goodbye, Mr. President.
Dun, dun, dun. plot twist. Okay, so I guess it doesn't leave it completely. It doesn't have a small opening for sequels. And now for my rank, which I did look up after recording this, and this is the third worst rank you can get on normal, which is somewhat saddening. Oh, Lord. And we do get the bandana for completing it, which does give you infinite ammo. If you get the bad ending by submitting, you get the stealth camouflage. Third playthrough, if you get them both, you get the tux. Which is, tux for the entire playthrough, which looks awesome. And Gray Fox looks like Spider-Man. But with that, I'm going to need to end this Let's Play off here. Thank you guys for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And I'll see you guys next Let's Play, whatever that may be. See you guys then, and have a good night, everyone.